Like, since there's only 2 people, you get to like do everything. You pass, set, and hit. It's not like indoor where you just have like one position, but like that's basically why I love it.
Hi, happy Monday, and welcome back to Volleyball from A to Z, where we talk all about player development. Today we're going to talk about beach volleyball, so I've invited partners Karis and Mahala to give us the inside scoop. All right, and here are Karis and Mahala.
Hi, I'm Karis Gordon, and I've been playing volleyball for around like 7 years.
Hi, I'm Mahala, Esser, and I've been playing beach volleyball for 3 years.
What high school do you guys go to?
I go to Stonebridge High School.
Stonebridge. All right, so thanks for joining with us today. We got Volleyball from A to Z, so that's all about player development. And this is a whole new topic for us so far about beach volleyball. All 3 of us love beach volleyball. We're on Boss Beach twice a week, sometimes more. So I want you guys to talk about a little why you decided to try beach volleyball.
I decided to try beach volleyball because I had a friend that got me into it. She had a beach court in her backyard, so she got me into it when she started practicing.
I tried it because my mom saw like a paper on NBVA, and I like just started volleyball. Like I literally started in 7th grade, so she just wanted me to like try everything. So that's literally why. I literally went to one session and just like started playing.
I just loved it. I love that you guys are starting so young. I started at age like 23. So the reason I wanted to do it was because it was my only option. So once like college volleyball was done, my friends were playing and they're like, hey, let's go. For us, it was like by the lake. So it wasn't really the beach in Minnesota. Yeah. So they're like, let's go play on the lake. And I just loved it. It was so much fun. So we could only play from kind of June and July and August. And
yeah, it's so cold there.
It's cold there. So what was the first thing that you guys did to get started? So like me as an adult, my non-traditional was just playing with friends. Like I didn't have the opportunity to have classes or, have that skill development.
We both started on like the middle school team with Pepe after tryouts, I believe. It was the middle school team. That was like our first time playing beach volleyball together, like ever.
Yeah, and
that's exactly when we started with Pepe, and then we started playing with him for a long time after that.
Yeah.
And I know that started before I got there. So what were kind of the first things that you guys did to learn the game? So what kind of practices did you do?
Lots of drills. Like literally we would have months of just focusing on passing, and then he would plan another couple of months just like focusing on setting. Obviously you do other skills, but like just like focused like training basically. And it was very boring at times, but like it was important that we had it. It's like fundamentals and stuff.
We learned like the basics for so long. Like we still learned basics even after like a couple years, but like in the beginning all we did was basics for months.
What were some good quotes that you remember about learn that serve receive, right?
Serve receive.
I know one. Close
like,
to you. Close to you.
Yeah, get behind the ball was a big one. Move your feet. I'll get yelled at a lot. Be like, get behind the ball, move your feet. Yes, come on, girl.
Yeah. Honestly, just getting your hips like behind the ball and having the ball like in your center line. That's literally probably what he said a lot.
Yeah, a lot we talked about. What was I remember another thing I always liked it is don't try to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that resonated with me even as a coach. It's like, on the beach you don't have to be perfect, right? It's not like indoor.
Yeah.
So one thing, why do you continue to enjoy beach volleyball?
Do you want me to go?
I mean, you can, yeah.
Okay. Well, I actually played soccer for my like entire life before actually playing volleyball, and beach volleyball is just such a good environment sport. Like the people you play with are super nice, and it's like on the beach, and it's volleyball. Like volleyball is literally the best sport ever, and it's on the beach. So when you dive, it doesn't hurt, And it's just super fun because, like, since there's only 2 people, you get to, like, do everything. You pass, set, and hit. It's not like indoor where you just have, like, one position. But, like, that's basically why I love it.
I love it because I love being outside and I love like meeting new people because like you don't really stick with a partner. Like you always have your partner, but like you can always branch off and meet new people and you get to visit new places. Like I got to visit California, which was really fun, and when we were there we got to meet a bunch of new people.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I know one of my favorite things is I just get to touch the ball all the time. So I get to do everything. And as a player, like I know in high school you guys have positions. Like I was a player that played everything. So it was nice to pass and set and hit and sometimes block, not so much anymore. And serve, and you got to do it all the time. One way I know that really benefited my indoor game when I played was pursuit. I was not scared to go after a ball. I knew I had to go after every ball. Even if my teammate was running, I was going to run over there too. So what are some things that you've seen that really complement your indoor game?
One thing was I could play a lot of different positions. Like before I was really good at just one position. Like I just play back row or I just play front row. But I learned that I could step into set if I really need to. I mean, I'm still not a good setter. I've gotten better, but I can like step in and just try something new.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm a setter in indoor, and this past season, my coach had me play serve receive outside. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, I could, and I definitely know this because of beach. Like you serve receive and hit all the time because there's only 2. So definitely that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I always tell, especially setters and even middles, is sometimes, you know, if you get into this beach game, it really makes you a well-rounded player. As an outside hitter, you kind of have an advantage there to do everything, but beach will definitely help you in all of your other skills. And serving consistency. Have you guys seen a really definitely. Good increase there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Karis' serves are very good.
Yeah,
I've gotten much better.
That down the line, that's a really good one. Yeah. So kind of thinking about your parents. Your parents are super supportive in everything you do. What are some things that maybe we could tell some other beach parents about the sport? So maybe just like how you guys got started, your parents just kind of signed you up, but then they also became fans. So what are some things as players that you really like that they do to support you?
I like how they go to all of our games, and I like how they meet new people with me. Like they're not like indoor games, they kind of just stay around with like their little group and they're screaming and everything. And beach volleyball, it's like you're more quiet. Like you're obviously can still be loud, but it's less aggressive, which I like, because like at indoor you can be very loud and be like, oh my gosh, like do this. But beach volleyball, it's more like you're having fun, like you're doing a lot of things, like you're meeting new people. Like that's what I like most.
I like it because, like, even when you're playing against a team, like, they could be your friends. So, like, parents, like, it's not as, like, mean, I guess. I don't know.
Like, you don't really
competitive
is what we like to say.
Competitive, yeah. Like, there's not as many competitive parents, which is super nice. And, like, most of them are there for their kid and, like, want them to succeed. So it's just like a better community, I guess.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point that I kind of forgot about is most people aren't going to know this, but when you're playing, so you guys as players have to be really accountable to each other, because me as a coach, I can't coach you while the rally is going on. I can only coach you during the point change or at a timeout. So it's the same with parents. So parents out there, you guys can get carded if you're yelling direction versus positivity. So what are some things that you guys, when you first started playing, were kind of nervous to tell each other that you're not anymore?
Who was getting the middle was a big one.
Oh my God.
We would always be like, okay, you get the left and you get the right, or you get back left and I'll get the front or the court. And it was always like one of us would hit the middle and we'd be like, I thought that was you, I thought that was you, but like we just wouldn't say anything. But now it's like we know everything about each other, so it's more easy.
Yeah. And like honestly everything. Like we would just like after getting a point, we wouldn't really know like what to say because we weren't that good. So it's not as much like we didn't want to. I mean, obviously we didn't want to, but like we didn't know in the beginning. So it was like both, I guess.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that clip of you guys playing on Instagram, and I was like, you are the only team cheering and celebrating after a play, like, because you can't really have that active sideline banter, how people do it. So like, how important is energy and changing the pace of the game that maybe you're still learning but you notice?
It's very important. Like, energy can just win a game, literally. Like, we can beat a team that we shouldn't have just because they thought they were going to beat us and they're not trying. Like, it's very weird.
Energy is so big because, like, we could be losing and still have, like, the energy to keep going, or we could be winning, but we have to keep going, even though, if it's easy team, like, we can't just give up energy or give up points. We have to keep going. So even when we're losing, like, we have to cheer and get up and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. There's been some moments as a little, because I'm definitely a little, that we play against two bigs, and same thing, they just think they're gonna win. But if you have the energy and every time you win you cheer really hard, and it even helps you maybe get things or do things that you weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
Magic. So outside of the intrinsic energy, what are some strategies that you guys have come up with to battle the elements? So when you're at a tournament and maybe you're waiting or you're reffing and it's hot or it's raining or it's cold, let's start with hot. Me, I know I always have to have a hat. I always have to do sunscreen. Luckily, there's always a tent. What are some other things that you guys pack for maybe a hot weekend?
Cold towels.
Yes.
Like in an ice cooler. Just when you're done, put it on your neck. It feels very nice. And if there's an ocean, that's really nice too, because you can just...
Yes, after games, just run into the ocean. It's so refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's cold water, that's the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pepe once taught us you put like cold towel on your foot or something, and I don't know why, but he said it was really helpful, and I guess it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that brings up another thing that some people might not be kind of knowledgeable about is sand socks. So if it's really, really hot, it's not just for cold. I use them for cold, but it's good for the hot sand to not have blisters on your feet.
Mm-hmm. Like, it hurts to step on the sand, let alone play on it. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, so that's a really good protective one. I know everyone's least favorite element, cold and rain, but again, back to that energy. If you are prepared and you turn your mindset of like, we can't think about this stuff, you're still going to perform well. But what are some things that you do when it's cold and rainy that you kind of battle the elements with?
When it's rainy, I sometimes wear like a visor or sunglasses so it doesn't get in my eyes. But when it's cold, I'm not afraid to put on like sweatpants and a sweatshirt and play. I sometimes did that when it was cold out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally just like for the first couple of points, you can wear a bunch of layers and then just take them off. And it's also nice when it's like raining because the sand gets super hard, so you can like jump a lot higher, which is nice.
Yeah, it's turning that disadvantage into an advantage. And some ways that you can beat these other teams is to have a tough mindset when it comes to all of these outside elements that these indoor players really aren't prepared for.
Yeah.
So let's talk about being partners. So you guys have kind of been partners from the start.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on it a little bit about that accountability. But really, how do you go about finding a partner? Or did you just kind of match up together?
I mean, we were friends before, so we kind of just like joined together and then like started playing together. But I mean, like, you can find partners anywhere. Like, if we're playing against someone and like we like one of the girls, we will literally just exchange numbers. Or like at camps, like people will ask you too. Like, it's not just like, you don't have to feel like you're just asking other people because they will want your numbers too. So it's like, honestly, anywhere you can just ask for a partner. It's very casual.
I agree. Like, you can just meet a random person, or like you can literally see a video of another person and like be like, hey, like, would you mind partnering with me for this tournament? And sometimes they'll just say yes and fly to you or drive to you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Even now when I play, that's exactly what I do. I just kind of send a message. And it sometimes happens. If they say no, you just ask the next person, right? Like, it's okay to just keep going.
Yep.
Yeah. So what kind of, like I talked about, I was a little, and I know you guys, you kind of split block sometimes too. So what does that really mean? So when you kind of play, you don't give us the secrets, but the strategy about what you do and when you do it, maybe like a pool play versus a playoff game, or what side of the court do you even decide to start on?
I usually go for the left side of the court. May usually goes for the right. Like sometimes the strategy is like we're split blockers, but I usually block and she usually defends. So like we'll start off like with her serving, so I can start off at the net, or we'll start off with like she'll maybe block one when I'm serving, so I can run up and just play. Like I can do a fast serve and just run up instead of doing like a high serve and then running all the way up to the net.
Yeah, literally. That's it. And it depends on like our opponents. Like if they're really short, we're gonna split block, but just expect to pull. Like you don't really need to block if it's not like a threat, really. And I mean, we got used to each other. Like I like running for balls, and she's taller and longer arms, so I mean, it kind of like worked out.
Yeah, I love these answers because it just shows how far you've come. But now let's almost flash back to 3 years ago. What were you doing then that you've learned not to do anymore?
I learned to pull.
Jump. Oh, you can go.
No, continue. Here we go. Here we go.
I literally used to jump when I pass. Like, I don't even know why, but, and I also learned to ask questions because I like kept hearing people like, do you want to split block? And I'd be like, oh yeah, like sure. I didn't know what it meant, so I'd just be like standing there, and I thought it was bad to like ask what is split blocking, but like once you find out, it's like, oh, and then you can do it instead of just making your partner have no idea where you're going. So yeah.
I learned not to move too early because sometimes I would like run for like, I'd be like, oh, they're gonna serve it short, and I'd run it all the way up to like the net, and they'd serve into like the deep corner, which would be like an easy pass if I was there. But like I'd be like, oh, I gotta expect the unexpected, but then like go for a ball that just didn't make sense.
Yeah, the risky one.
Yes.
What about, I know a lot of people always ask this, what are the hand signals that the blockers give up at the net?
We've gone through a lot of different we used to like have like clapping, but now we just like do behind the back and then like cross block, or like, so like each person, like this is a person, and like you have your 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then you kind of just like point to where you want on the court, I guess. So yeah,
I do that. It's so much easier because sometimes people like, I've seen like a couple girls like bounce their fingers, they'll be like this, and then they'll be like point like that, and I just have no clue what's going on. So I just try to go with like what's most simple so I can understand it, my partner can understand it.
Yeah.
Sometimes Karis will like point like this to go on the outside of like the person.
I've seen her do that.
I like to go like that. Like I'll point to a person and go like that so they can serve to the outside of the person near the line. So it'll be like, it's a harder serve to get, but it's also like harder to pass. So I try to just occasionally throw it in there if they can.
Yeah, and it's definitely like thinking about those partners, right? If you're asking someone to be your partner, like right before you play, you kind of have to review, this is what I like to do, what do you like to do, or kind of get that out of the way at first. So then, you know, if you're saying like, okay, let's split block, sure, and then your partner doesn't run up to the net. So it's totally okay to ask those types of questions because you're both, you know, you're both trying to win. You want to be competitive, so you don't want to just assume you think the other person knows what's going on. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna throw this at you again. We want to think 3 years ago, or maybe even more than 3 years ago. What's some advice you would give your younger self about beach volleyball? Or if you want to give advice, what age should you really start playing beach? I'll let you think about it a little bit. So my answer, I started when I was like 23. So I wish I would have started earlier. Beach volleyball was just starting to be kind of a thing when I was in college. But I just loved it so much more for my type of player that I was. So I was a DS. I was sometimes a serving specialist, but on the beach, I could just do so much more than I could in indoor. So I wish I would have started younger. I wish I would have even just tried it. So I always think that these indoor players, especially DSs and setters, need to try beach volleyball because it might be their calling.
I definitely agree with that. Some advice I would tell myself is just to be patient, because when you like expect too much of yourself, you'll get down and then not want to play, and then it will just be bad. But if you're just patient, and like beach volleyball is very different from volleyball, but I mean like it does have like, it's like volleyball, but I mean there's lots of different things, so you have to like give yourself time to adjust. And like for the age thing, I don't really know, because like we will play girls that have grown up on the beach, started playing when they're 3, have their dad as their coach, and we'll be like crap, and then we'll beat them. So like I feel like it doesn't depend on your age so much, just as like your discipline and ability to like stay with it and like practice and like really want to succeed.
One thing I would tell my younger self is not to compare yourself to others, because I compared myself a lot to the people around me, which was a struggle. And then I got injured at one point, and then when I came back, I was always like, would they come back faster? Like I'm not at the same level as they are. Like they're so much better than me. Why am I not there yet? And it's like you need to pace yourself and just think about yourself and not others. And I agree with Mahala. I don't really know what age you should really start at. I've played girls that were like actually like grew up on like the beaches of like California or Florida, and like she said, like coach is their parent. And I've played girls that like just started last year, and they're really good too. Like I don't think there's just an age. I think there's like your ability to keep going and like your skill and discipline, like she said.
Yeah, I love that. I think that even like merging them together, right? So you have to be patient, otherwise you'll end up comparing yourself. And the nice thing about beach is like you can almost have your own style. It doesn't have to fall into that indoor, this is how we do things, you know, A, B, C, D. You know, you just want to pass to this area, or you want to cut shot over here. Like it doesn't have to be boom, boom.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. So to end here, tell us a little bit about what you're doing to prepare for after high school, because I know you guys both want to play beach collegiately, which is still growing and new. So what are some things that you're doing to get prepared for that?
I try to work out almost every single day. I've been trying to figure out how to email coaches and talk to them, because soon, like we're 2022, and soon we can start actually calling them and they can actually respond to us. So I'm trying to prepare myself to actually talk to them and be like, talk about myself and try to figure out what I'm gonna say and how I'm gonna explain myself, because as quarantine is, like it's completely different, and I have to try to figure out what I'm gonna say about practicing and all the tournaments of this summer and everything like that.
I think, like, if you want to go to a college, you definitely should go to one of their camps. I highly, highly, highly recommend that, because then the coaches get to know you. So then, like, when you email them, and emailing is super important, you got to email all the time. So when you email them, it's like building on a relationship. So then when you start like talking to them on the phone, it's like better, like they know you, they know what to expect, and like that way you don't think you can go there and they don't feel the same, or like you think you can't and then they do. Like it's just like you kind of know where you stand, I feel like.
Yeah, that definitely helps. I remember coaching college, having our college camps, and especially our recruit camps. It was a great way to see how the girls kind of fit in, or for some of them to realize like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. So that's a great thing to do, is go to those camps. And yes, email, because us coaches, we want to talk to you because that's who we're going to spend 4 years with. So we love your parents. We're happy and appreciate them for all their support, but we want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So that's great advice. All right, ladies, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today. Hopefully we can spread the beach volleyball love out there to some more players.
Yeah.
All right.
We need more people.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.